The Community Foundation of South Central Kentucky's mission is to encourage philanthropic giving for positive impact upon our communities for now and generations to come. In order to build, promote, and better encourage this mission, the Foundation has created an annual award to be presented to one distinguished member of our community whose life matches these same goals of service, impact, and overall commitment to our area.
As I think about some of the words that maybe describe Dave, which there are many, but one that really comes to mind to me is really selflessness. And I think Dave is all about, he does so many great deeds throughout the community to individuals. Many of them you don't know about. And so Dave is really about helping, when you break it down, about helping others to achieve what they want to become. And so that's why he is such a great friend and a dear friend to so many throughout South Central Kentucky.
Dave is first, he's just a great guy, friend to many, and further, he's just a wildly successful businessman and just a serial philanthropist.
Dave is an entrepreneur and he's a visionary. Dave, early on in his career in real estate, identified specific goals and had a vision for his future, and it has certainly resulted in extremely successful projects.
When I graduated from WKU and had lots of ideas, always have been a little entrepreneurial, but I read a book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And it doesn't necessarily mean monetary riches, but riches in whatever your chosen discipline may be. And that book was the kickstart of understanding the concept of planning and goal setting and surrounding yourself with good people.
He came from humble circumstances like most all of us did, very humble beginnings, and yet he set a goal for himself to change the trajectory of that. And he developed skills to do that, to change and to become a very successful man.
Dave has developed his career through hard work, through perseverance, and certainly you don't have to be around him very long to know that his hard work, his efforts have paid off, and he instills that in everyone around him. Very similar to his business career, Dave also has a vision for providing support and encouragement for others, and has done that countless number of times with his support of a variety of charities.
His sweet mama poured a lot into him. You've probably heard this, what's in the well comes up in the bucket. And that is true for Dave Chandler. And what's in his well was put there by his mama and his friends and his mentors and his partners. It's integrity and it's character and it's honesty and it's intention and focus, wisdom, all those things were put there, and he builds on that.
I really believe the genesis of David's philanthropy lies at the feet of Miss Sue. She raised him in a Christian home. She made sure he was in church, and for a lot of us that grew up in rural southern areas, philanthropy starts with the passing of an offering plate. And your mother tells you, bring a dime, bring a quarter, and put it in that offering plate. And I'm confident, based on the stories that Dave has shared with me, that the genesis of his benevolent spirit began right there with his mother in those church pews.
I have, again, from an early age, been so fortunate. Coaches, teachers, mentors, friends, business associates then, as you move through life. And I just don't know that I could have been any more fortunate than have the group of people that I've had around me through the years. And everybody's always been, very positive and helpful.
Again, you're going to see some things that are obvious, but David does so many kind gestures behind the scenes, and I've heard those from folks because a lot of times he wants to do those anonymously, and so a lot of those things he wants to help people, and so it goes over and over that people stop me because they know of our friendship and tell about the great gesture, what he does to help individuals, organizations, other civic groups.
Dave's personality is one it's just instilled in him to help his community, to help his fellow man, to help his friends. It's inspiring. It's just incredible that I've got to witness the years, the decades now of generous acts that David Chandler has done. I remember once when he was helping start a planted church, and the pastor didn't have a vehicle, and David bought him a vehicle. I can remember the times that David put people on his airplane to take them to medical appointments at specialists across the country. I can think of times that Dave has just made sure that somebody's had a place to live that was in a difficult situation.
I'm sitting in one of his gifts today in the Chandler Chapel. This is a beautiful vision for Western and a place for students to worship and gather and pray. This is just one example of his generosity. And I think the thing about his generosity is it's not just financial. It's his time, his talents, his leadership, his wisdom, his mentorship.
And certainly Dave's support of the Foundry. The Foundry is an important contributor to pre-kindergarten education in the West End, and Dave caught the vision of the Foundry very early and has provided a tremendous amount of support and encouragement for the development of that Foundry and its success.
We had a pastor at Broadway United Methodist Church by the name of Rick Bard who identified a need in the West End of our community for preschool because there were children there, many of whom were first-generation Americans, who were not getting preschool education, which immediately put them behind when they entered or enrolled in kindergarten. And Dave not only supplied the resources, but helped form the strategy so that these kids have a chance. It's unbelievable.
Again, when I was very young in a small town in Owasso, I had a set of ladies' golf clubs that I paid $5 for at a garage sale, that the golf pro at the little public course would let us, it's called walking on, not paying, at 3 p.m. or later every day. And that game of golf became such a parallel to the discipline of life. And had that golf pro not let us have access to that public course, my path would have been significantly different. And so we bought and have refurbished, completely rebuilt Park Mammoth Golf Club. And the idea behind that for me all along was to make it the nicest public golf course in the state of Kentucky.
Cave City, boy, it's such a phenomenal course. And so we had the pleasure, about 30 of us, go up there and play about a year ago, kind of an inaugural event. And it was such a beautiful course. And let me tell you, it's a treat for that community, what he's done. But one of the great things we saw that day is we know Dave likes to, sometimes he wears some pretty bold colors. Well, that day he really was eccentric out there, and he had his lime green shirt and his lime green knee-high stockings, which we really enjoyed. And so what we've come to find out, Dave has started now a golf team up there at Park Mammoth. And so Chris is one of those great leaders. I think is a team captain there. So at least you can actually see the great profile and now what Dave has started. We are very honored. So there you go. So I'm not sure if it's to keep away the snakes or where they can see him throughout the entire course, but obviously this gives a little representation of Dave and what he likes to wear on the golf course.
I think when people stop to look at what he's done, when you just take a minute and see what he's accomplished, it's amazing. And so I think the community is grateful, hoping that this award through the Community Foundation affirms what he's done for the community, and I hope he keeps doing it.
This is one of the things, the Community Foundation does so much good work, and it's the one unique award that I think you're being recognized by your peers, which in my mind, there's no greater recognition from people that know you. This isn't an award from afar or some national award. This is folks, there's a lot of good board members on the Community Foundation giving up their own time because they all have real jobs, and for them to select me for this honor, it's truly just a wonderful privilege.
And he loves to see Bowling Green, not for his own, because a lot of these things he does behind the scenes, but truly to see Bowling Green grow the way it has. And we know Bowling Green is one of the fastest growing communities in the state of Kentucky. David is a big reason for that, and I think if you ask others, you're going to hear that. He's been a great visionary leader for many years.
I'm extremely proud that the Community Foundation of South Central Kentucky has recognized David Chandler for his philanthropy.
He does what he does not for recognition, but he does it because he believes in this area. He believes strongly in individuals and in not giving them a handout, but giving them a hand up. He understands that folks have helped him along the way, and he's going to provide that assistance for others. So I think this is an extremely deserving honor for Dave Chandler.